Just bear with me. Okay. Good evening. Today is, I believe it's Saturday, the 16th of January, 2020. Today's program would be a quite exciting program because we're going to talk about research on CBD. And as usual, I'm going to have the expert or colleagues who knows more about the CBD product than myself. And obviously he himself or my other colleague will introduce who they are, what they are, and their background and about CBD products, research, so and so. But before I do that, I have a little bit of disclaimer. If me or my guest say something or do something which is irrelevant or which may be controversial, disclaimer is please forgive us on that aspect and don't put us into the liability term, because in live there is no script. We haven't scripted anything. But please enjoy the program, and you will enjoy it as it is based on a bit of information and information background of CBD, right? And knowledge is power. Power is everything. So let's start. First of all, if you could introduce yourself, Abid.
Good evening, Mr. Mir. I'm Abid, musculoskeletal specialist podiatrist for nearly 20 years, amongst other things that I do. I've been involved in CBD for about 7 years, and we supply and are the UK authorised distributor of CBD products in the UK. My colleague hopefully will be joining us shortly. He's a little bit late this evening, so apologies. That will be Bilal Malik, who is an independent prescriber pharmacist who's been part of my team for the last 4 or 5 years now. So yeah, we're here today to just talk and chat about CBD really, and have a little look at whatever sort of research is going on out there, just to start a conversation really. A, because we've got a bit of extra time with lockdown, and B, also, you know, there is an interest out there and there's a lack of information. There is plenty out there, but there's a lack of people talking about it, I think, and that's the bit we're hoping to fill in here, having a conversation. So we'll look at a couple of research articles and papers. We'll have a general chit chat about CBD this evening, and we're open to questions and comments from viewers. Anybody who has anything that they need to know is very welcome to join in.
Thank you, Abid. Anybody who want to make a comment, please make a comment to my personal Facebook ID. Otherwise, I am sharing into many platforms, so I won't able to see your questions. So best if you want to ask questions on my Facebook platform. Again, thank you, Abid, for introducing yourself. If you could just give me a quick, I know we did 1 or 2 series on CBD, a quick crash course about what is CBD, just a quick.
CBD is essentially one of many molecules found in hemp/cannabis plant. It's extracted away from the psychotic components, which people would know as THC, which can give you the high. So CBD, once it's been extracted, is just in its neutral form. It will not give you any kind of high or psychosis. And it's suggested that there is a benefit within the CBD molecules. We have endocannabinoid receptors in our brains, and these molecules interact with those, and it's said to be helpful to regulate certain body functions. So we'll see. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. As I said, if anybody want to know more detail, we did do a couple of sessions, didn't we? So they can go back on that and understand more in depth about CBD's legality and bit of product information. Before we go to research, I want you to, if you got any product behind you or near you, if you could just go through each product about a couple of seconds, just to so we get this program a bit
Okay.
of uplift.
Yeah, sure. And of course you'll find a lot more information and programs on our website and channels related to cbdchem.co.uk.
.co.uk, which is
We
about
do regular live programs there too, and we're going to go into a lot more detail about cannabinoids and all the ins and outs of the CBD science. For now, Somers, I think you want to see something like this. So this is a typical bottle of CBD oil. That one would take in droplet form, orally under the mouth, or in food, drinks, and beverages. So there's a pipette dropper bottle in here, and use that. You can also get it in capsules, as an example. Soft gels, we call those. There's a number of creams, lotions and potions containing CBD. You have it in vitamin supplements. You have it in creams like this. So this is hopefully you can see eczema, psoriasis,
with
and
the
acne
cream. I just want to go into the cream because this is where both of us a background are, or we have the strength on that. It's the lower limb. So just quickly, you got three creams. Do you have another one for foot cream, or 4 cream you have altogether? So
yeah, there is a foot cream. There's also hand cream too. Let me just grab the foot cream for you.
Please. So at least, because both of our what we call a podiatrist in other part of the world, podiatrist is known as a foot doctor. Okay,
So
because we are streaming throughout the world. Okay, this is a foot cream. Yep, brilliant.
So it contains them, and just I pulled this out just for you, Somers, because you were asking about it the other day, and that's your favorite right there.
Crystal, that's my favorite. Can you just tell them what it is and how pure that is?
Yeah, that's 99% pure CBD.
And what it is?
500 milligrams, and it comes in a little round tub. Yeah, you just a screw lid, and it's pure crystal. So you can either just place that under your tongue, or orally, or dab it into food and drinks and beverages. So it's just different ways to consume it, really. And nowadays you can find it in gummies and drinks, and I know a company that's putting it in water. You find it in soft drinks. I believe a few big, well-known soft drink companies are starting to combine it into their drinks and beverages. You find it in coffee shops these days. It's quite trendy in your coffee, cakes. There's 101 ways to consume it. It's said that hemp and CBD and its derivatives have always been in the diet. When you look at sort of a previous grass-fed.
And then we also got this halal product as well. If anybody interested in that.
Yeah, we have the halal black seed combination with CBD for extra boost. Of course, we have to be careful what we say about CBD, so we was very careful because a lot of legalities around it, so we won't purport the medical benefits of it. But part of what we're going to be doing is looking at the types of things people are researching it for, and of course, it's so wide and varied and such a range. From pain to mental health conditions to inflammatory problems. There's all sorts of things that people are researching it for.
Yeah, because we have to use the terminology quite carefully so it can help or benefit. That's the word I'm going to try to use.
Yeah, it's certainly not a cure.
Yeah, it's okay
for things. There may be some helpfulness in it.
I know couple of the research you want to talk about it, but I also know from you each research is huge. So obviously we're not going to go to totally ins and out, but I just want on the nutshell, if you can. So we're going to talk about roughly, if we have a time, half an hour, 3 subjects where there is some research, I believe. Shall I? Okay. Which one do you want to talk, or shall I pull up your?
So yeah, we pulled up three sort of random papers we pulled out just to kick off the conversation, really. And there's a ton of stuff out there, and any simple search in any
okay, for your information, I have pulled up called cannabidiol improves blood flow to brain. So if you want to go in there and explain us.
Okay, let's have a little look at this paper then. So this is quite a recent one. You can see there, 9th of August 2020. And this is saying that a single dose of CBD helped increase blood flow to the hippocampus, an important area of the brain associated with memory and emotion. So this goes. This is to do with sort of psychosis, mental health type conditions, perhaps Parkinson's, that sort of stuff.
Hello,
So you can see here.
Hi. Sorry, I'm late.
Not a
Oh,
problem.
hey Bilal, nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Okay, Abid.
Are we live still? Yeah, Bilal's joined us. So Bilal, we're just going through these papers. So if you can see here, this is the first one to do with the brain.
Said, hi, hello, brain. Thank you.
Hippocampus, the hippocampus. So you can see here, researchers said that they think that this could be useful for Alzheimer's and post-traumatic stress disorders, and could help with a number of therapies involved in mental health. So this study was published in the psychopharmacology
so are we
paper.
talking about mental health now, which is, as you know, let me just input you on that. We all know that
brain disorders, I suppose, as well, isn't it?
But this probably will be an ideal time because as you know, with COVID-19, there are a lot of reports coming out. We are suffering with mental health, mental issue. So, you know, this research could be an ideal time for you, both of you, to enlighten us further.
Yeah, it could be very useful. I mean, there was another paper we were planning on looking at this evening, and that was to do with lung recovery in COVID patients and CBD in that. We'll pull that out for another program, I think. Absolutely, foot medic. Yep, absolutely spot on. It's mental health. Possibly, it's quite relevant.
Can you just hold on a bit for me? Let me just introduce Bilal, and then I'll come back to you. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Bilal, if you could introduce yourself and your background. So, as you know, we are streaming throughout the world.
Oh, hi, my name's Bilal. I am an independent prescribing pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for over 10 years now. I've been working in the community and recently went back to university to do the independent prescribing course. I've therefore done some work in GP surgeries and also have worked in the private sector as well. But I continue to work as a community pharmacist 2 to 3 days a week, and do other private stuff in the meantime, as well as the CBD work.
Okay, so before I go, I've got a few questions before I go to Abid again. On the basis of your, because we're going to talk about a bit of research today. Is there enough research as a pharmacist point of view on CBD?
There is actually tons of research, to be honest. I mean, the papers, if you just Google on anything that researchers use, I mean, when you guys were at university and other people, the common ones are like the Pharmacist Journal or the NCBI Journal and things like that. You just type CBD and you'll get overloaded with loads of information. I think a lot of prestigious universities have done research on this, and also smaller universities as well, and all indicates good stuff about the molecule of CBD and how it interacts with the body. There's just actually one paper that's Abid that's pointed out right now, and there's actually an interesting line there, and it's just worth pointing it out that it says there is evidence that CBD may help reduce symptoms of psychosis and anxiety. There's some evidence to suggest that CBD may improve memory function. Now, this is a very important factor because basically there's a lot of delusion around CBD because basically, and a lot of stuff from the media saying that, you know, is it okay, is it not okay? And that's partly because of the fact that it's extracted from the cannabis plant. Now, what people need to understand that CBD is a non-psychoactive compound, and it does not interact with the memory function in any way, and it does not change or alter mood states, i.e. when I mean mood states, meaning add anxiety, etc. It actually does the opposite. With the THC compound is when people smoke cannabis or use high THC oils. Now that has a mind-altering effect, and this is something just to point out in this paper, which proves that fact, that basically CBD doesn't really have any negative effects on the brain or any part of your memory function, or even it does not induce psychosis. So a lot of people that take THC or smoke cannabis and are maybe highly anxious people or highly overthinking people, or have problems with controlling their mood, it may excite the mood in terms of increase it and cause delusional states, etc., etc., etc. But with the CBD compound, it doesn't do that.
Excellent. Thank you. Now, so a question beyond CBD is more or less what I experienced. Independent prescribing. How was this course? For me, it was one of the worst course. I didn't like it. It took my life away. So how did you find the independent prescribing course?
It was actually okay, to be honest. I mean, the workload.
He's a pharmacist, so it should have been okay for him.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we got problems.
I mean, the prescribing element was good. What I find difficult as pharmacists, we're very good at basically talking about medicines and doing research and journals and all this type of thing. But what we're not very good at is anatomy. Anatomy is a big pitfall of pharmacists, so we struggle on that point. And I feel that the independent prescribing course is effective, but it does require that one has to do further research himself and further do extra courses to make sure that he is competent in the area in which he wants to prescribe in.
Thank you, Bilal. Now, back to CBD. And it's my friend Abid, who's a consultant podiatrist, by the way. Now, Abid, it's your show.
So yeah, this was from UCL. You mentioned universities, University College London, of course. So yeah, this is one of the universities that's invested into research in CBD. So you can see, I won't read it out for you, but you can see on the screen there what they're suggesting. The fact that CBD helped increase blood flow into the hippocampus, but it did not cause any significant difference in blood flow to other regions of the temporal lobe, which is very interesting. That it only had an effect on the hippocampus, and that's of course in the prefrontal cortex. So Dr. Bloomfield mentioned that, to our knowledge, this is the first study to find that CBD increases blood flow to key regions involved in memory processing, particularly in the hippocampus. So this supports the view that CBD's region-specific blood flow effects in the human brain, which has previously been disputed. So there you go. I mean, more and more research coming out there supporting benefits potentially of CBD. This was it was a small study. It wasn't a great amount of people involved in it, but it just goes to show that if there was such changes as they found here in a small group, then if we're looking at hundreds and hundreds of people, then it'd be very, very interesting to see some results there. So that's just kind of a basic overview. You can see the link there at the top. You can find this paper out there yourself, and it was tweeted around a little bit too. And that's from the UCL website directly. So anything you want to add in onto that paper, Bilal? Basically, yeah. Kind of, I think that says it itself, really, doesn't it? It's a pretty straightforward findings there.
Could you go back to the limitations?
Pardon?
Study limitations at the bottom.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
It was a dose of 600 milligrams. Yeah. Orally that they took on different occasions, separated by at least a week, and that was 15 young, healthy adult participants, and none of them had any history of cannabis use.
That's the problem with a lot of these studies. I'm just going to critique some of the studies that, yes, they do show good findings and they show promising things to the CBD world and people who are advocating it, which is a good indication. But one problem with most of the studies, I think, is that the participant sides are very small.
Yeah,
that causes a problem, because basically you could get pot luck on that, really, to be honest. Talking from a thingy that if 15 individuals never experienced anything and they all experience the same thing, it could be just a coincidence rather than actual findings as well. So
scientifically, that's a small group to do a study on, but it's something. It's something. At least it's beginning the conversation, and look, they've given them something else to look into in more detail. So yeah, a couple of hundred volunteers involved in a study like that would be much more relevant for sure.
Yeah.
Whereas for Mr. Meargon, have we lost him?
I think he had to.
Are you still there for a minute? No. Okay. We'll carry on. Let's go to the next research article. So you can see this is from we found this on biomedcentral.com. and this is to do with the therapeutic role, of cannabidiol in mental health, a systemic review. So carrying on a little bit from effects on the brain, perhaps from the previous article, and this is quite a big paper. If I just quickly go through it, it goes through a lot of detail about the different compounds found within CBD. Bioavailability. It references a heck of a lot of other studies, all quite recent, 2019, 2018, and it goes through its results and discussion in quite good detail. So this is a real good quality research, bit of research, and it's got some very interesting findings. So let's go right to the top.
So do we have one for sports? Did we talk about?
There's one for sport also. Yeah, sport. There's a lot more going on in sport. Here you go. Hopefully you can see this one.
I wanted to know about. We talked about brain. We talked about mental sports. Okay, if you want to explain me about CBD related to sports.
Okay, this is a lot to do with sport things. They're looking at sort of muscle recovery. They're looking at performance. They're looking at various other components. They go into the pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics. So again, it's a really good quality study. And ultimately, this paper is to do with it's a bit of a article review, really. So they've looked at a great number of articles. I think there was good 15, 20 articles they looked at here to do with anything to do with sport and performance. So did you look at this article, Bilal?
I can't see it. It's not coming up on my computer.
There's a lot to do with pain. Can you see that foot medic on your screen?
I'm sharing on the thingy.
So we're looking at neuropathic receptors, pain, anxiety, exercise-induced gastrointestinal damage. Because of course we've had some people that have used it a lot for stomach issues, digestive issues. That's another quite common point. Bone health here. Look, they're looking at study to do with cardiovascular, metabolic functions. Thermoregulation, dietary intake and feeding, illness and infection, and sports performance anxiety. So this is an issue, I suppose, again relevant to today, because these guys are trying to keep up with their sport in this funny COVID sort of situation time. They're playing without crowds. There's a lot of mental health issues there, and sleep. Sleep is very important for sport performance and exercise science. For recovery and etc. And then we're looking at cognitive and psychomotor functions. So they kind of did a literature review, really, and they looked at the conclusion here. Let's skip to that for you. So after looking at all that, they've realized that CBD has been reported to exert a number of physiological, biochemical, and physiological effects, and has a potential benefit for athletes. For instance, there's a preliminary supportive evidence for anti-inflammatory, neuroprotective, analgesic, and anxiolytic actions of CBD, and possibly it may protect the GI, gastrointestinal system, from damage associated with inflammation and promote the healing of traumatic skeletal injuries. However, it is important to recognize that these findings are very preliminary, at times inconsistent, and largely derived from preclinical studies. So again, it's just highlighting that although there are studies in various areas, and some of them show some promising signs that CBD can help benefit in so many areas within sport, potentially when it comes to mental health and physical health too. So there's again suggestion, as Bilal mentioned earlier, that we need to look at bigger numbers of people participating in these studies to get some viable results. But here you can see all the references. There's been a lot of articles, and if you note that they're all, a lot of them are fairly recent. I mean, look at this one. I think from 2008 onwards.
We've got 5 minutes left, gentlemen. So if you want to make your conclusion remark for today's program, research. So I'll go to Bilal on research and CBD in the community. What benefit or help can we achieve?
From the research.
Research on the basis of community aspect. I mean, on the community-wise health benefit.
Health benefit. Yeah, well, the community right now, they're suffering from a lot of different problems, general aches and pains. And I think even when people go to their GPs, and a lot of it is common illnesses that people are suffering from that which can be taken care of at home. And a lot of it is probably just because people do overthink things and and feel that and cause themselves to basically feel down a bit and helps and causes a lot of other illnesses to come into place. So I think it's about keeping a positive attitude and using the CBD as I would say a boost of the immune system or psychologically to help you as well.
It's a supplement, isn't it? It's a sort of lifestyle supplement. Is the best thing we can say.
And that's where I think that basically it may help in the community in general of taking it as a lifestyle supplement. May people may see the difference in their life and have a more positive outcome of their health and that would impact on others as well in the community as well. If people feel good, then that reflects on other people as well.
Excellent. And the last things for you, Abid Ali, on the base of the CBD and in the community role, what benefit and with the current situation. So if you could nutshell, just touch this before we close up.
Yeah, I think it's good to have options and alternatives. As we all know at the moment, it's really, really difficult to get medical appointments and all the rest of it. So if you're suffering with anything that may the research suggests may be of some use to you, then I think it's worth a try. Try it and see. It's not something that would work for everything and everyone, but I think it's another alternative. People are turning to alternative medications in all sorts of guises. So I think, but personally, it's worked for me and a lot of people that I know for various things. So I think it's just if you're lucky enough, you can afford to, worth trying it out. We'll continue to look at the research and evidence. We'll do further programs and we'll keep trawling through the data and try and pick out some up-to-date articles and keep sharing the information and knowledge. So
thank you, Abid. And to Bilal, how can somebody get contact with you or find out more about CBD?
I think the best way to contact is through cbdchem.co.uk. We actually we are a company that provide high quality CBD products for mainly the pharmaceutical industry and clinics, but it is open for all other businesses as well. And the best way is, like I said, to contact us via the email info@cbdchem.co.uk if you want to express your desire to basically participate or want further information. We're more than happy to assist you in that way as well.
Thank you. Any last word, Abid? This is your last word.
No, just be safe out there, everybody. The whole COVID issue is pretty bad at the minute, and it's going to be like that for a few weeks yet, at least. So just I'm sure everybody is anyway, but just best wishes out there to everybody and stay safe.
Thank you for both of you coming to this platform just to educate. And today's topic was CBD research. Obviously, there's tons of research there, but we just only scratched a bit. So if anybody wants to know further information, please get to cbdchem.co. They will obviously give you further information as possibly as they can. And we'll try to continue, hopefully, understanding more in depth about CBD, what's their role, how can it benefit the community and the healthcare practitioners. So again, if we have said something or done something, we are not aware of it. As a disclaimer, please forgive us for on that aspect. And we are still under the COVID-19 emergency situation. Please keep safe, and safety is more important than anything else. Thank you and goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.
Good night.
Good night, guys.